I don't know if I need this. Good morning, everybody. I don't know if I really need this. I could use my bus driver voice. But good morning, everyone. I'm Amy Skopak. I'm the Director of Transportation here, and Corey had asked that I welcome everybody this morning on behalf of Matt's family, and lots of friends, lots of family in the crowd, and also lots of people we haven't seen before. So I'm sorry that we're meeting new people under these circumstances, but we're all gathered here today for Matt. So Matt called me boss, but I was honored to call Matt friend. So we just want to say that we're grateful for all of you taking the time to join us in remembering Matt today. Thank you for taking your time also to love and comfort his family during this very difficult time. Having the passing of a loved one is definitely one of the most difficult things that we can ever walk through in our life. So please make sure that today is not your last show of love, comfort, and support for this family, because they're going to need you in the years to come. It's not just about today and the tragedy and what's happened, but it doesn't stop for them today. And so they still need you to love on them and support them in the days, weeks, and months ahead. Okay, so thank you all for being here today, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
What's next? She is? Okay. Go ahead.
So this is Marissa. This is Matt's niece. She wanted to do something special for Matt today, and this is a poem from Where the Sidewalk Ends, which was his favorite. Oh. Can y'all hear me?
Put it.
Okay. I'll speak louder.
There you go.
Is that better? So this is a poem from Where the Sidewalk Ends. It was his favorite poetry book. Not his favorite poem, because if you knew him well, his favorite poem was a little inappropriate. So so we're gonna read Where the Sidewalk Ends. Are you good? Okay. Do you want to still do it?
Think of Uncle Buddy laughing at you. It's okay.
This is a place where the sidewalk ends. Say, there is a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins. And there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright. And there the moonbird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black and the dark street winds and bends, past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow. We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go, to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children they mark, and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. So I think I've met a lot of you this morning, but for those who don't already know me, my name's Corey. I am Matt's girlfriend. I put together something to say to all of you today, and told Melissa this morning that I just didn't know if I could get through it. I really don't want to cry today, because I just know that that's not what he would want. I know that he would want us celebrating and happy. If there's anything that I have already knew, but really been proven, is just how much he was loved and how much he lived, and lived for all of you and all of us. He's the most incredible man I've ever known. The outpouring of love and support from each and every one of you and those who are far and wide has just been has been nothing short of incredible. People have welcomed me with open arms. His family has welcomed me with open arms, and this was not how we ever intended to meet. But here we are, and you know, I told Matt. I think I'm going to talk a little bit. So, I have anxiety a lot of the time. I spend my life very stressed a lot of the time, and worried, and all of those things kind of take over. And Matt asked me once if he gave me the butterflies. And I'm very thoughtful in my responses, and I thought, and I said, no, no, you don't give me the butterflies. And he was so sweet, and he just took that answer, and he moved on to the next subject, and he didn't allow me to explain. And I'm so thankful I got to explain later, but the next time I saw him, he brought me gummies in the shape of butterflies so that he could put not gummies, but he could put butterflies in my stomach. And so, so at that time, when I got those gummies, I said to him, I really need to explain this. I live my life very anxious, and when I'm with you, I'm not. And you feel like home, you feel like calm, you feel like safe, whatever those things are. And I think that butterflies to me are like unsurety and nervousness and all of those things, and he never made me feel those things. He made me feel like I could be 100% myself and in my own skin, and that I think from all of the outpouring and love that I have gotten from everybody else, I think that's how he made you all feel too. And so I think that's the one thing I wanted to say today, is that he was just an incredible man and left his mark. And this Doctor Who quote behind me, I think, says it all. It may not have been as long of a life as all of us would have wanted, but he certainly left his mark. I really am so grateful for all of you. Words cannot explain how grateful I am. I think that's it. Thank you so much for coming out today.
There's a lot of you. I am so blessed that he had so many people, wonderful people in his life. Thank you to everyone who came out today. Thank you to those who could not be here but have reached out or sent love and prayers. It's evident today the impact that Matthew had on everyone he came into contact with. Whether it be his bubbly personality, his smile, his love for life and family, the care and consideration he gave to everyone until you crossed him, the heart he carried on his sleeve, the love he full-heartedly gave, or just meeting him and knowing you had a new friend. Bud, as we called him, was full of life and, oddly enough, didn't fear death at 38 or any time in his life, really. For those of you who really knew Bud, you knew he loved his jokes. Most were inappropriate and typically told at the wrong time. But he had a few dad jokes that just made you smile or chuckle. He always wanted to make people do that. If you've ever heard the story, Have You Filled a Bucket Today? Essentially, it's a story about daily happiness for yourself and those around you. Now, was Bud perfect? No. He had flaws like all of us, but 98% of his life was making sure that those around him had some kind of happiness in their day. It's sad to say that Bud left this world at the height of his life. I was going to get through this. But he did, and he left way too soon. I mean, realistically, being his 11-month-old or older sibling, and in another 70 years, he was supposed to be giving my eulogy. I never thought I'd be standing up here today. Bud longed for reciprocated, unconditional love. Most of you have been through his many breakups and saw the effort he put into them just to be kicked to the dirt and made to feel unworthy. It was heartbreaking. But when he found Corey, someone who truly loved him back, that did all the small but meaningful things that made him feel love, kindness, and peace, he was on his way to getting his health back on track. A recent post on Instagram about how he couldn't typically fit in a seatbelt, but had tried and it fits, showed his pride and excitement. Bud had a lot of jobs over the years. He was a bus driver, a long-haul driver, CDL truck driver, heavy equipment operator, and a live haul driver, to name a few. But when he got his most recent job with Temple ISD, he called me and raved about how proud and excited he was. It was the job he'd always wanted. I could hear his smile and excitement through the phone. He told me often about his plans to buy a trailer to live in so he could always have a place to call home, and when Lexi went off to college or joined the military, he could follow her. He had great plans ahead. You guys want to come up? Now, with all of that said, we all know his greatest and most valued life blessing was Lexi. So this part, Lexi, is for you. I hope you never question your daddy's love. You were and are his biggest success in life. He wasn't perfect, but he sure did try to be a perfect daddy for you. You're so lucky to have been able to make all of the memories you did with him. Honestly, he did things that surprised me. Letting you do his makeup, going to the nail salon and getting pedicures, and painting his toes. He tried his absolute best to give you a life where you didn't question your worth or his love for you. You were absolutely perfect in every way to him. As you look around today at all of those who came out today and remember your daddy, I hope you see support for you in this tragic time, but I also hope you see how much your daddy lived. All of these people here today are an example of the life your daddy lived and the joy he gave others. If you ever start to lose sight of your daddy, you can always reach out to your family and those here to give you a story, a laugh, or a memory that'll keep you going. You will never be alone. Not the day he passed, not today, not in your lifetime. You are way too loved. Now, Bud would not want us crying and sad. He would remind us we can't be too serious because, let's face it, he wasn't. So per one of his many Facebook posts, here's a funny. At my funeral, I want there to be a piñata so people can be happy. But I want it to be filled with bees so they're not too happy. Again, and on behalf of the Odle siblings, we thank you for being here today and for being an intricate part of our brother's life. We're so thankful he lived a life he was proud of.
Hi, my name is Rebecca.
It's off.
Okay then. Hi. My name is Rebecca. I'm Buddy's sister from California. I didn't write anything down because no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do it. Buddy and I were 10 months apart. We were all really close in age. Brenda did that well. Stories. I don't know what Melissa said because I was running late. But when we were little, Buddy kind of got picked on a little bit. He was the only boy. We were playing one day in our front yard in the driveway, and we were playing jump rope. And Buddy came hauling butt on his bike, and Melissa and I thought it was a great idea to stop him. So we pulled the rope, and he got clotheslined. Well, we got in trouble for that. And he wasn't mad. Buddy never got mad. And that's how I know him. He changed his name to Buddy because our birth dad, his name was the same as him, and he didn't want to associate. Many times we would play in the pool, and we would see who could stay under longer, which was also not a good idea. I watched Buddy go through relationships, and not just talking about female relationships, I'm talking about friend relationships. No matter how much hurt Buddy had from trusting too deeply, loving too hard, he never gave up. His heart was never closed off to a single person. And it was always, he loved harder. It made him stronger. And all Buddy ever did was want to be accepted. He wanted to be loved, so he loved the way he wanted to be treated. He wanted to be respected, so he gave you all he had. And most often, I thought it wasn't reciprocated, but I see all of you guys here. So it had to have been. And that's beautiful. And I thank you guys because I didn't know what kind of turnout this was going to be. And he was blessed. And he was loved. And no matter, last time I was here, it was for another service, for our birth mom. And I hate the fact that I've been here only 4 funerals. I wish I could have come out here more. I wish it wasn't under these circumstances. But I will say to what she said, is that he did love you, Lexi. He loved you hard. And I know that you guys didn't agree all the time, but kids don't agree with their daddies. But I will tell you, I had an experience with him getting a pedicure. And he knew what he wanted, more so than I did. And these people loved him. He wasn't ashamed, he wasn't shy, he was boisterous, he was outgoing, and he was not afraid to be humiliated. So, thank you so much for showing our family how much Buddy was loved by being here. And I look forward to hearing whatever stories you have to say, because it would mean the world to me, I know, to know what impact he had on your lives. So thank you.
So at this time, we're going to allow a few people to come up, and if anyone wants to say a few words, share a story, you can come up, and we'd love to hear those.
I don't believe I need the microphone. I think I got big enough now. Let's be quiet. I had the joy of working with Matt long before he came here. Matt and I worked for a shredding company. And on Mondays, we had to go to San Antonio. Every Monday, we was in town on a truck for 8 to 11 hours. together. And I was always impressed because Matt had a couple of three things that he had to talk about. One of them was his dad in California. Had the opportunity, we talked to his dad for an hour going down the road. He talked about his love for Lexi. And like I said, teenagers don't always get along with their dad. Believe me, I've had two of them. They're grown up now. But we would share things. When you're in a cab of a truck for that long, Matt opened up and told me some things that really bothered him. And that was things that hadn't gone right, that the way he imagined that they would. So all I want to say is this was an outstanding young man. I had the opportunity to work with him again here, and he will be greatly missed. Thank you all for showing up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh.
Once again, thank you everybody for showing up. Now, most of you that know me know I'm very straightforward. And for one, when I first met Matt spoke to me and he said, "Hi, Miss Cook, I'm Matt. You don't talk to nobody, do you?" I said, I pick who I talk to. So he said, well, I had said to him, I said, I only speak to certain people, you know, I have my choices. He said, well, I guess I'm liked by you because you just spoke to me. Okay, you know, that's correct. But what I want to say is me and Matt had our differences. I'm a very strong character. He was a kid at heart. And when we talked about our differences, it wasn't a good picture when we both talked about it. But like everybody has mentioned, he always kept everybody with a smile. Even though we had our differences, and I am a very strong person, he made me smile. He made me laugh. So when it came to Matt, everybody thought, you know, she and Matt are not gonna get along. After a while, when we got over our differences, Matt was always giving me information that I didn't know about. If there was something going on, he would say, Miss Cook, this is going on. Miss Cook, this is... And I was glad that he brought up the information to me. Like I said, he was a kid at heart. I would always see him in the morning because we both live in Killeen. He would drive by me in the morning. And I don't want to bring it up, but that morning, there were several days where he would just pass me and I'm like, okay, there goes Matt. But that morning, when I was passing by the highway, and for most of you bus drivers, you see me as a strong person. This will be the first time and last time you see me cry. Even though me and Matt were not that close, like I said, you know, he was a kid at heart. I'm a very strong person. But that morning, I was the one that saw where Matt's last day was. So I was coming from Killeen. We both were coming into work at the same time. And I always knew he would pass me at one point. But that morning, he didn't pass me. I passed him. So the only thing I can say, like I said, and everybody has mentioned it, he always kept everybody going, everybody smiling, his jokes and everything. But me and Matt got along well, not as much as some of you would think that we would get too close. No, I'm not that kind of person, but I respect people. But what I would like to say now to Lexi.
Yes.
To Lexi, I do remember from hearing from all the bus drivers, he loved you so much. All he talked about was you. And it hurts me because you're just a child. I love kids. You know, And they call me the enforcer because I try to keep my kids straight. But I do. Me and my husband, we both love kids. And Lexi, if you don't mind, I know it hurts. I know it's hurting you. But can you please come up here, baby? Because I got something for you, please. Please. Lexi.
Oh, she's coming, Rebecca.
Baby, I know it hurts. But I made you a blanket so you can remember your dad. You can hug him every day. This is for you. I know he loves you a lot. And we love you. Bless everybody and thank you.
I'm Marty. I was blessed to get to meet Matthew last school year when he started here. Okay.
You know this out like me.
Turn it on.
Y'all hear me? Okay. I was blessed to meet Matthew last school year when he started here. He said he had worked here years before, but it must have been before I started. I was blessed to get this job after I left the boys club. And I've always tried to help whoever I could, especially kids. But everybody around here knows me. I'll go up and share the word of God with them, and I'm just trying to encourage them. I'm not trying to preach to anybody. I'm not trying to be better than anybody because I'm a sinner like everybody else. And Matthew was that guy that when I first met him, he would say, "Are you all right?" And I was telling Corey a while ago that I would say, "Yeah, man, I'm all right." "What?" "You know, all right. Well, if you need to talk, let me know." We go on our buses. Then I think about him on the buses like, man, I was rude to that guy. And so I would apologize when I see him. "Matthew, I was short with you. I'm sorry. Thank you." "It's all right, bud." And I didn't know y'all called him buddy till today. And he'd tell me, "If you need to talk, you let me know." "All right, Matthew, thank you." And we got so comfortable together. He's like, "Me and Lindsay, and, you know, love you. Love you too." And I hugged him one day. And he told me later on, he said, "Hey, man, thanks for that hug. I really needed that hug." And I said, "Okay, I guess Jesus knew. I don't know. I just hugged you." But he was such a beautiful person. He just loved out loud all the time. And I'd like to be more like Matthew. Lexi, you're so blessed to have him as your daddy. And I'm very happy for him because he's with his grandma and grandpa again who raised him. He would tell me how much he missed them. And my mom's there now. And so, I don't know if they've met, but I hope so. And anyway, I'm just thankful that I got to have him in my life for a little bit. And I'm going to share this word with y'all. And so, under the canopy of sorrow, I give God's words. I share the eulogy Jesus gave for himself